Hey guys, it's Angela, the baby nurse. I wanted to talk today about a little more about baby care. Very important aspect as a new parent and for the babies. I wanted to talk about when the baby first comes home. When the baby first comes home, usually most babies still have the little bit left of their umbilical cord. Now, the umbilical cord will fall off. Do not give the baby a full bath until the umbilical cord falls off. Just do a sponge bath until then, okay? And, dry the baby. Don't let them stay without being dried for a while because they lose their heat very easily. As change of temperatures come about, a rule of thumb is dress the baby one layer warmer than what you would wear. Okay, so if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt and a pair of pants, put a long sleeve shirt, pair of pants, and a nice warm sweater on the baby with a hat. Always should have a little hat on for the baby. Okay, remember, feed your breastfed babies every 2 to 3 hours. Wake the baby up for feeds during the day. Very important. Formula fed is 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes formula fed babies may get a little gassy. If you find your baby's a little constipated, gassy, abdomen's a little distended, which means it's a little firm and hard, a little bloated, full of air, the baby could be having a problem digesting the formula. So you may want to talk to your pediatrician about changing the formula to something a little easier on the stomach. There's different kind of formulas, from soy to very nasty, pre-digested formula. It sounds gross, but it's really not that bad. Very expensive though. That's why breastfeeding is usually ideal for the babies. Breastfed babies, when you breastfeed your baby, you can do a cross cradle position where the baby's head is right here, and you literally hold the baby up like this to your breast, and the baby's body is literally in this forearm here. Okay, usually the feet kind of dangle down here. Or you could do the old-fashioned cradle position where the baby's head is here, latched on like this. Now when you do that position, I don't like that position too much because you can't see if the baby's breathing too well. Their nose usually smothered against the breast like this. I like cross cradle because you can see the baby's position. You can hold your breast like this, okay? Or football position where literally the baby's head is in your hands. You hold the baby like this, have a pillow underneath your arm, support the baby, and you bring the baby's head up. Okay, pillows are your best friends when you're breastfeeding. C-sections or when you're tired, the best position is a side lying position. Literally lie on your side, all the way on your side. You're literally like this. Actually, you'd be like this, and the baby would literally be lying right next to you like this, okay? And you can use this arm here to cuddle the back of the baby's head and this hand here to hold your breast. Okay, breastfed babies have less problems with constipation, and they actually stay healthier, less colds, less fevers than formula-fed babies. Breastfed babies, if you have a good seal, when you breastfeed them, when you're done, they may not burp, so don't panic, okay? Your breast and your milk ducts don't really have air in it, but burp out of habit just in case, okay? Ideally speaking, you should feed a total of 20 to 30 minutes. It can be 10 and 10, okay? Or you can do one breast, and then for the next feeding, just start the other breast, for the next feeding, okay? If your baby is irritable, you've tried everything from feeding, changing, burping, TLC, okay, tender love and care, and none of that works, take a temperature. Your baby could be feeling ill. Just because a baby cries does not always mean they're hungry, so don't always try to feed the baby. You may be overfeeding your baby, okay? When you bring the baby home that first week, you have to learn what your baby's trying to tell you. Remember, they cry to communicate. One cry could mean they're hungry. One can mean they're gassy. One can mean they need a diaper change, and etc., etc. Eventually, you will learn what your baby's trying to tell you, and you'll pick up on which cry means what. But if you know you just fed the baby, don't try to feed the baby again. It does not mean the baby's hungry when they're crying. It just means they're trying to tell you something. And your job is to now learn what your baby's trying to tell you. Okay, so if you've done all that and you can't figure out what's going on, like I said, take a temperature. 100.4 is a fever in a baby. Under 6 weeks old, I would seek medical evaluation or assessment further. Over 6 weeks old, Tylenol, try that, see if it brings the temperature down, or Motrin. Okay, I already talked about the cradle cap on the baby's head. Okay, when you wash the babies to reduce that scabby like little crud that develops on the top of the head. Okay, I talked about positioning. You don't want the baby to get one side of the head flat. I talked about tummy time already, which is very important as your child is developing. It strengthens their neck muscle. So even if you put them down and they're kind of like this on the table, it's okay. They will eventually learn to bring their heads up, okay? I used to love to feed my kids when they started eating table food. I used to love to feed them in their little bouncy or their little vibrating chair. I never actually really put them in high chairs. I wanted to entertain them also. So the little bouncy, you know, has their little toys on it and stuff. So I found that to be fun, okay? That's all I can think about at this time. I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope your babies are nice and healthy. Mom and dad, don't forget, take naps when that baby takes a nap. The first couple months is going to make you exhausted. Being a new parent, okay, even if you've done it before, you're still a new parent to a new baby. It's exhausting. You need your rest when you can get it. And don't be afraid to order out if you have to, okay? Don't try to be superwoman or super dad, okay? If the house is a mess, leave it a mess. You'd rather have a happy and mental health relaxation than stress over trying to clean too. As long as the basics are done, don't try to do everything. No one can do everything without being miserable, okay? There's no such thing as a perfect household when you have kids, okay? When you have kids, all you want is happy kids, happy parents, and sometimes that means having a little happy mess. All right, if you like my channel, please subscribe. Again, everyone, have a great weekend. It's TGIF today. All right, guys, signing off. Bye.